All right. Hey guys, welcome to the that says January. What the heck? See, I need to stop copy and pasting these presentations. Welcome to February. It's already February. You guys believe that? Oh goodness.
Wake me when it's springtime.
No doubt, right? All right. So let's make sure we're still going. Okay. All right. Welcome to the February Lumpkin County ARES meeting. So the typical agenda announcements. We got an EOC update to talk about, actually. I want to talk about OUs as well that we're working on. Got an exercise for this month. And we'll do a little WinLink operation refresher. After the January exercise, there's a lot of missing details on the WinLink operation. So we'll go over some of those just to refresh and maybe fill in some gaps so people can actually maybe that's what's needed here, but let's see. And then we'll close up here. So announcements. Hey, look, it's the same thing. Digital workshop on the 4th Tuesday of every month at 7 via Zoom. I think most people here try to attend that at least. And now we have 2 local nets for Lumpkin County ARES. The first Thursday, 8:30 on 146, 835. And then on the third Thursday at the same time, 8:30 at about 3975 for HF. You guys like the HF net? I thought it went really well.
I enjoyed it a lot.
I do, but I don't like the frequency.
Yeah. So I picked 3975 just because that's what all the other state ARES stuff runs on, and maybe that's the problem. I didn't want to, we don't want to have a list of frequencies, right? 100 different frequencies for 100 different things. If you got some suggestions, though, feel free to send them over. So we need net control and alternate net control for these as well. Any volunteers? And we do have a net this Thursday at 8:30. So it would be great if someone other than me could run it. We have a script that's on the group IO page, and I can show you that. It's basically just read through. It's really easy. It's not too difficult here. Just to get someone with other experience, or at least we need to get an alternate net control, someone to take check-ins and maybe keep a 214 or something during the nets, just to get in practice there. So I'll do the one this Thursday, and we'll call for alternate net control and see if you guys want to do it. Then you can just volunteer to be alternate. And like I said, it's just going to be keeping check-ins and keeping track of the net and taking notes. So other nets we have, statewide phone net is every Sunday at 5. We established that was the right time, right? It's 5 o'clock during the winter. It's 6 o'clock during the summer, I think. We have a Northeast District WinLink net on Sundays at 8, and statewide WinLink at 3 on Sundays, every Sunday. And those are when net control is going to check for messages. You don't have to send a message at 8 o'clock. Just send it sometime before then. I want to come back to these because as we saw in the January exercise, there's some WinLink issues going on. And these are a great way to practice. Right? If you don't get a message to the Northeast District or the state guys, then who cares? We need to figure out how to make it work, right? But we're not losing anything. We're not waiting in an exercise waiting for a response or whatnot because you couldn't get your WinLink going. So that's a good way to practice WinLink. And that's really the key here is repetition. Repetition. All right. Any other announcements for anybody? We do.
Say that again, Aaron.
Anything else from you? Nothing?
No, I'll take a future Lumpkin County net sometime.
Okay.
On the HF.
Okay. We can put you down for February then, Jim, if you want.
Sure.
Okay. There actually is a Hamfest.
I just need the script.
Yeah, we'll get to you. That's no problem.
Okay.
There's a ham fest if you guys are interested. Don't be interested, please. Dalton Ham Fest is the end of the month here.
Is it going to be live or
Yeah,
Memorex?
it's going to be actual people. It's
Wow.
not going to be inside. It's all going to be in the
Probably
boneyard.
only outdoor. I don't think they're going to do the indoor portion.
Correct.
That'll be nice and warm.
Well, it's Dalton, so it's
Yeah.
going to be
Well, that's
rainy,
traditionally the
cold, or
coldest
both.
ham fest of the year.
It's
Yeah,
always raining.
always raining. That parking lot, when it rains, it is just 3 inches of water on that thing.
Yeah.
Was it 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago? It was raining so hard that they couldn't park anyone in the field. They were parking at the Western Sizzle across the road because they just couldn't. No one could get in or out. It's so muddy.
What is it, the last Saturday of the month?
26th,
27th.
27th. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
27.
Saturday the 27th.
And be careful. I'm not going. I don't plan on going to any ham fest this year. So we're all adults. We can make our own decisions.
Probably be poorly attended.
Was that, Russ?
Might be poorly attended.
It will be poorly attended.
Yeah.
It's going to be, I mean, it's usually a pretty big one. It's usually mostly North Georgia people. There's some people that travel in for it, but you're probably going to have less than half of what you usually have. So, but they're still going through with it. And actually, not to entice you guys to go, but there's actually going to be a statewide ARES event there where they're going to have. Remember Skills Day that we did a few times up here?
Yeah.
Where we had everyone met and sat through some classes and then did some stuff. We're kind of doing a weird little iteration of that, is where there's going to be some instructors teaching you stuff in the task book, right? The key is the task book. So we'll have instructors, how to, put your power poles on, or put a connector on your feed line, or build an antenna, or whatever. And then you do it, and then there'll be some state officers there, and they'll sign your task book for you right there. So that's, if you're willing to risk it for that, or you can just sucker me into meeting you somewhere, and I'll sign up on your stuff. So it's up to you. Anyway, anything else? Any other announcements? All right, moving on. So EOC update. So I talked to Lorraine on the phone and traded some emails with her last month, and a few updates. We talked about putting an antenna on the tower, and I think you guys remember the results of that. Is it cost $3,000 for the climbers just to show up, and more to put the antenna up, because it's a 901 tower, right? If he messes up, it's bad. So that's out. So what we did is we sent Lorraine, I reached out to Russ. He helped me out with this. This has been a while now, Russ, hasn't it?
Yeah. Well, it seems like a year.
It's 6-7 months probably. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
that was back in the spring, yeah.
Yeah. So basically she said, what antenna and feed lines do you want up there? And I said, how about a Diamond X510 HDM, which is a pretty big antenna, and some LMR 400. And she said about getting that purchased and installed on the roof of the fire station, right beside the EOC, with that feed line run down through into the EOC room, right? That meeting room we had our first meeting in. And she sent me an email and said that has been approved and that is in process, and that's going to be actually done in the next few weeks, which is.
So it's not going to be on the tower, it's just going to be on the roof.
Correct.
And that's fine.
Yeah, it's better than me with an HT from the backyard, right?
Yeah. How much feed line did she order?
I don't know. They're going to run that, right? So they'll put the ends on it and run it through, and they'll have enough to. What we're going to wind up doing is, well, we're going to skip ahead here a little bit, and I'll come back to the question there. Is the radio room won't be ready till October or November this year. Remember, she said that last year. What happened is the radio room is waiting on someone to move their stuff out. They're waiting for a place to put it, which is the old library in town. And if you've been by the old library, you know that they're ripping the roof off that thing. They're like gutting the whole building. So it'll be months before that's ready for them to move their stuff out so we can move our stuff in. So until then, there's going to be enough coax to put coils in the ceiling above the big table so we can drop the feed line down and plug it into the radios that are on that we'll bring and put on the table. So we can actually operate from inside the EOC.
I got a suggestion.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we should use LMR 400 Flex rather than 400.
Yeah, probably. No, we can put, we can probably just run some patches from the ceiling down.
Oh, okay. Okay. That's fine. But you know, I don't know if you've ever used real 400, but
Yeah, it's pretty
it's almost like hardline.
Yeah. And so it may or may not be that antenna and real LMR 400. It will be equivalent, right? This is a government agency. They have to put that out.
Tram makes the same one for about $88.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. We'll have to see what we wind up getting. Let's see what else we're going to do there. But yeah, we can, get a barrel connector and put it in the ceiling and then run some flex down, or even some 240 down or something like that, 240 flex. And that should be fine for moving our stuff around on the table and moving it.
Correct.
So, all right, any questions on that? Yeah, that's some progress there. That means she still likes what we're doing. Right? So that's a good thing.
I don't guess she has a choice, does she?
Well, yeah, so if we look at the next piece here, she's looking for a quick deploy team as well. And I reached out to a couple of you guys, and don't say who you are unless you really want to, about that. And what she wants is, if there is a communications disaster, if they do not have communications anymore, she needs to be able to rely on us to actually have operators go with units, law enforcement units, fire units, into the field and operate radio for them. All right, so communicate back to the EOC. So in those situations, we'll have Renee probably at the EOC running the radio, and she'll be net control because she's really good at that. And but the issue here is units that are in the field need to have a radio in them, right? And that would be where we come in. Now, will that really happen? No, never happen, right? Welcome to, what year is this? I don't even know what year it is. I would look at my presentation, but it's usually wrong.
2022.
It would be a very, very, yeah, thanks, Russ. It'd be a very, very bad time if all communications for the county are down. That would mean effectively a terror attack on Lumpkin County. This is the only thing I could think of as really practical, because they're really diverse. They have towers. They have towers on Black Mountain. They have a tower on Crown Mountain. They have facilities elsewhere. They're pretty good. If something happens, it is a directed strike against the county. And at that point, we need to look at whether or not we're willing to go to be deployed in that situation. So that brings us to the second point here is we need to have a kind of a come to Jesus moment where we have to do some self-reflection. And not everyone in an ARES group needs to be able to run in the back of a fire truck, right? Not everyone needs to be able to run with law enforcement. Not everyone needs to be able to do these things in the field. There are other ways to participate with ARES. We need net control and alternate net control. We need people at home, right, relaying messages. We always need liaisons. If there's a big disaster like a tornado or something like that, we'll need someone to liaise between Lumpkin County and, say, White County and Hall County and Forsyth County, Gilmer County. There are different ways to serve ARES, but if you are willing and able to grab your radio and be in a squad car for 12 hours with the sheriff's department, then that's great. We need those too. So if you're willing and able to do it, please volunteer to do it. But please, the worst thing that can happen is everyone says, yes, Aaron, I'm willing and able to do this. I'll do it for you. And then something happens, Lorraine calls and I say, I got 12 people that can do it. She's like, great. And I call everybody and everyone's like, no, I'm not going to do it. Right. That's the absolute worst thing that can happen. So, please have some self-reflection here, whether or not you're willing and able to, what level you're willing and able to deploy, right? So
You're talking about deployment just in the county, right?
yeah, I mean, it should be just in the county.
Yeah.
All right, anything on that? Any comments on that one?
Yeah, I think we need to get Smiley out of Gilmer County.
Well, I talked about the, what situations would arise where she would need us. And it's, like I said, be pretty specific things should happen. And if those things happen, then what's the number one rule of deployment? You guys done your training there, is you need to make sure your stuff is taken care of at home, right?
Yeah.
If there's a terror threat in the county, I'm not going to deploy. Guys going to deploy on that? We'll support them, but I'm not going to ride in a sheriff's car because guess there's some stuff going down right now, right? So.
And the other thing is too, if you're comfortable leaving your family at home during a disaster, you need to really weigh that against, and my situation is that there's no way I could leave my wife at home or would.
Yeah, I'm really lucky is that if I get deployed, Renee's going with me. Or it's probably Renee gets deployed, I go with her, right? That's probably what's going to happen. So.
Well, Aaron, let me ask you along those lines here. Some of us are well over 21, shall we say. And, I'm looking at the same 5 people week after week. Do we have any people that are, shall I say, younger that are interested in ARES in Lumpkin County?
Or do we have anybody that's even interested in ARES in Lumpkin County?
Yeah. My point exactly. Thank you, Smiley.
I have the next slide will probably cover that for you, Jim.
Yeah, because I mean, I'd be happy to be a, relay station or anything like that.
Sure.
It'd be nice if there was some exercise to prove that it worked. That, can I reach out to other counties and who would I call? And, do we have an exercise that we could do to prove that it works, right?
So I will make a call to our district emergency coordinators and get that. By the way, that's Renee. If you guys didn't know that.
Yeah, that's a long distance call, right?
And one thing we talked about, we have a district call every month. Is it every month? I can't remember how often. Yeah, it's every month we get on a Zoom call and talk to other people in the district. That's one thing we talked about is last month, everyone sent in their 205s there's a group IO for the district, and everyone sent their 205s. So in theory, everyone has everyone else's ICS 205 forms. So the idea there was you can practice reaching, you can see who you can reach from your place. But yeah, there needs to be an exercise for the district where you say, all right, Union County needs to send a message to Clark County, send it via VHF, right? That means you send it to Lumpkin, Lumpkin sends it to Hall, Hall sends it to Jackson, Jackson sends it to Clark, right? So there definitely needs to be an exercise for that. And that is already in the beginnings of that are getting going there. So.
And phone messages too, not just written messages, but be able to contact people on HF and VHF and that kind of thing.
And actually HF with, NVIS on 80 meters is probably pretty important here because guess what? There are 4 or 5 counties on the other side of that big mountain ridge. It's over that way that we can't reach directly without going over the mountain. So So we
That'd
need
be
to,
a fun exercise, I think, because the last one we tried, first and last, was so successful. It worked very, very well.
yeah. Actually, we should probably do that, shouldn't we? Should probably have a district HF net once a month or something.
Yeah.
Well, if I haven't heard any of our group check into the HF net on Sunday, that'll give you a good idea of your reach and of everybody else's reach.
Yeah, you're correct. It gets a little fast sometimes if you're not practiced.
But what the trick is, just wait until you figure everybody else is through, and then go in and
Yeah.
give your idea.
Just listening to everyone. Who's doing the net lately? Have you check in, Smiley?
Every Sunday.
Who's been doing that net lately? Is that
Jim W4 UCK has been doing it in relief for the guy that usually does it, who has COVID.
okay? Oh, really?
Yeah, he's been out. Jim and one other guy have been swapping it back and forth for probably, I don't know, a month and a half or so.
Oh, who's the guy who usually does it? I'm having a brain fart. I can't remember his name.
Jim
Is it Jim?
is W4
UCK.
UCK. Yeah,
Know him.
he's in Blue Ridge.
Okay.
He's actually only about 11 miles from me.
Oh, well, see, that's a great exercise right there. Then, or a great measurement is he's on the other side of those mountains we're talking about, right?
Well, he's on. Yeah, he's actually in a dish like I am alongside the river.
Yeah. So he's down in a hole. Yeah.
But there's people that check in there all over Georgia.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Mostly North Georgia, but all over Georgia. In fact, the other Jim, KF4RX, usually checks in also.
Yeah. Yeah.
When is that on there, Smiley?
Is what?
When is that net?
It's
Is it
5
on
o'clock.
Sunday?
5 o'clock on Sunday. 39.75.
Say that again. I'm having a hard time hearing.
It's right there, man.
39.75 at 5 o'clock.
39.75 at 5 o'clock.
It
Okay.
usually lasts about 40 minutes, 45 minutes.
A lot of those guys are on the cracker net.
Yes.
That's the net where I get to go third. And everyone else has to wait at the end. But I haven't checked in months to that net. Anyway. All right. Anything else from this side? Let's go to the next slide real fast, and we'll revisit questions. So you guys remember what MOUs are? Anyone? What's an MOU, Jim?
It's a memorandum of understanding agreement,
Yeah, there you go.
or some such thing as that.
Yeah, exactly. So that is a written handshake is how I saw it described this week when I looked up some information on it. As so you have a handshake agreement with another group, but this is just a formalization of that. It has the key for between there's an MOA and an MOU, and the memorandum of agreement, the MOA, you sign if you have money involved for services. So if you say, if there's a disaster, I'm going to pay you to come and chainsaw off the trees off the road, right? Obviously we don't have any money. We don't have anything to do with that. So we have MOUs, which are agreements with other groups to help augment our abilities, augment our team if there is a called disaster. So we reached out to the mutual assistance team, the MAT team. Are you guys familiar with that? I think we talked about them before. So the MAT team is actually a Georgia ARES section thing. Don Coltrane, KJ4UC is the ASEC for the MAT team, and he has 30 some odd operators throughout the state and in all the districts of the state. It's not just North Georgia. It's, you know, every inch of the state is covered by the MAT team. But they train specifically to roll in as a team into a situation and help the ARES group that needs help. So if there's a tornado here, the 5 of us can't do the whole thing, right? We may have to have, well, in this case, like Lorraine says, I need some number of operators to sit in the back of trucks, in the back of cars. You know, if there's only 3 of us, that's not enough. So we can call the MAT team in, and there are actually 3 members in the Northeast District who have agreed to get the training that would be required for Lumpkin County and to help augment our force here. So that's, we're working on MOUs, real like written documents. We've already had the verbal agreements with the MAT team, so we just need to get the written part. Also had a meeting with White County ARES. Alan Sykes, KR4AE over in Cleveland. Most of you guys know Alan. We're going to have an MOU with them as well. So I think Rick, you're the only one in White County here tonight, I think. Yeah. So the idea here is if there's a disaster here or in White County, the other group will help get the numbers up and try to help cover there.
Right.
Also not included here, and I mentioned this to Lorraine, is the gear group, the off-road guys who they ran an exercise with us last year, and they do 6-gap with us. They're not as seasoned operators as we are, but they're good enough. They can be put in a vehicle, and if you have someone like Renee back at Net Control that can really lead and instruct them what to do, right, in case of situations come up, then they can be a good group to operate, because they're all ham operators now. So we'll reach out to them as well for an MOU. And then of course we need an MOU with the EMA. What does Lorraine, as the EMA, Deputy Director EMA, what does she expect us to do? Let's write this all down so there's no confusion. I think we don't want a situation where, what's the example you gave, Smiley? It's like, I want to run radio, but I could have been driving a water truck today.
Yeah, or digging ditches.
Or digging, yeah, no one wants that. So these are things we're working on. These are MOUs we're working on, and that will really help. One, it'll help us reach out to other teams in the state, which is a good thing. Help us reach out to our neighbors. But make it really clear for what we're going to do for the county, what the county can offer for us, right? Because there's always an exchange, right? It ain't free, you know. And maybe all we get is an antenna and some feed line and a radio room in the EOC to make our lives easy, but it could be more than that. But these will really help augment our capabilities here. And if that goes well with White County and we can start those exercises with the district, then we can reach out to Hall County, who's got a pretty big group. Forsyth County's got a gargantuan group. They're just huge. If we have an MOU with them, if there's something goes on, then they can probably send, 5 or 10 operators up here to help out as well. So making progress on that front. So any questions then? And where's your question before, Jim? I already forgot what your question was.
About people that will be deploying.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering about,
anyone,
an age sort or abilities group, because I will speak only for myself for the moment. And that is that I don't think I'm going to deploy for 24 hours, and it would be even difficult to deploy sometimes for 12 hours.
Yeah.
But if I could sit at my own station here and do any kind of relay work, because I have a fairly good station, and I've got generator backup and battery backup and backup to backup.
Yeah.
So, I could probably fill in that capacity.
And I'm in the same situation pretty much.
Yeah.
And I have to roger that too. I'm in about the same situation too.
You'll make it
Not that I want to be, but I kind of am.
Well, yeah. I mean, we have to face it. I told
No, I don't have to face getting old. Come on.
no, the royal
See-
we. You can deal with it on your own, Rick.
Seasoned. We're
All right,
seasoned.
okay.
Uh, uh, the story I told you guys.
I
100
have equipment problems too, so I gotta work through those. So
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why we train. That's why we do these things. That's fine. We can do that. This story I told you guys 100 times is last year in Huntsville. I guess it was a year before that, where it had the president and the CEO of the ARL were there. And my question to them was, what is the league doing to alleviate my problem with dealing with 70-year-old white men? I'm tired of dealing with 7-year-old. I mean, yeah, I wasn't really tired of it, but there was a demonstration that ham radio community is just old, man. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend. I'm an old man. I'm the youngest one here.
Well, the thing is that years ago it was cutting edge technology, and young people enjoy cutting edge technology. When I was in high school, for example, when I got my license, this was the edge of technology, right?
Mhm.
Radio is a mature technology, but everybody's got a cell phone. Everybody's got email and Twitter and all the other stuff that you could use to communicate with people. So, I mean, a lot of the technology we use is really antiquated. The
Yeah.
only edge we have is that there's so many of us, and if we all have our own individual backups, then it becomes a fairly good reliability. But more and more, like look at out in California. Now, California has asked the ham radio operators to stand down and no longer participate with things like wildfires and such.
Hmm.
I don't know that I'd use California as any kind of an example for anything.
By the way, I don't know if anybody can hear me, but I have a real unstable connection.
We can hear you fine, Jim.
Yeah.
We can hear you fine.
Okay, because it keeps freezing up on me. Everybody's video freezes, and then the audio portion starts boinging. So I don't know.
No, you're good.
so
Okay.
I'm having,
Anyway, there it
I have my
was.
speaker by my ear so I can hear you.
Yeah, the last I heard from Jim, he said he was 21.
Yeah, there's no rhyme or reason for anything that California does.
Yeah.
Well, that's what Biden's thing is make America California.
All right.
Yeah,
Stop.
boy.
Stop.
Oh, I like you, Rick.
Stop.
I'm sorry, I get a little upset sometimes.
Stop.
Nah.
Stop. You guys stopped yet? Okay.
We're done.
Well, so back to it. Moral of the story is we don't have anyone who can climb in the back of a fire truck on and off all day long. White County doesn't have anyone who can climb in the back of a fire truck on and off all day long. Hall County might. Forsyth County might. But yeah, there's nobody up here. So, I mean, these are just facts we got to face, and we got to make sure those are up front. We can't promise Lorraine that, I got 3 operators that can do that when we don't really have anybody.
Well, these 3 operators could probably climb in and out, but you'd hear an awful lot of moaning and groaning.
Some cracking.
Yeah, joints cracking. Ow.
Yeah.
Do they have cots in the back of those things?
No, they do have med kits though. I'm just saying. All right, enough about how old we are. Let's move on. February exercise. So we're gonna do something on the 20th. Is that a Saturday? Does that sound right?
Saturday?
It is a Saturday.
Well, I got a date right. That's amazing. The usual time, 9 o'clock. This time we should focus on operating remotely, and remotely just means not in your shack. Like, step out in the backyard, get in your truck and drive down the road a little bit and operate from there. Something that you're not comfortable with from a location standpoint. Obviously, we want to be safe. Don't go, to city square or anything stupid like that. Don't go to a park. COVID protocols, all that stuff would be in effect. So that's why I say, like, Like I'll probably get in my truck and drive down to, there's a cabin down the road here. I'll probably just pull in the driver's seat, in the driving, what am I trying to say? I'll pull across from it and operate from there. So we'll do the usual check-in on 146, 835, and then we'll go to this frequency that Smiley doesn't like, 3975. And then we'll do WinLink messages. So this is a combination of stuff. So this is a operate mobile, operate HF, operate WinLink all at the same time. So be prepared for such things. And of course, remember your 214 and the 205. And I probably will not generate 201 for this one. I'll probably just send an email summary sometime.
Smiley, by the way, this is an ICS 214, not a DD 214.
What's a DD 214?
I think that's his point exactly.
Hey, you know, the service for
A discharge.
discharge. Yeah, show that you were in.
Well, if you want to bring that too, that's fine.
Could do that.
I really have no. This exercise will be very much like January. I think that was a pretty good one. We did some stuff over time. We did a lot of different things. So I don't really have anything else to practice specifically other than you'll be sent instructions, sent injects, and deal with them as you can. And this is going to probably be a little different here too. The other ones were pretty simple. I'm going to say stuff like, I don't know, you just bent your antenna on your mobile station. Now what are you going to do? Something like that, right? Things that you could easily fix from your shack that you not necessarily can easily fix from your mobile or from remote. So be prepared for such. I'm working this up because I heard a cool story from Frank Dean, who is the SEC. He's over the whole state for ARES, and his dad was an EC back in the day. And I think I might have told you this story. Frank's father would write down things on pieces of paper and put them in envelopes. So he would say we had 5 teams, he had 15 different envelopes, and you would pick 3 envelopes marked, numbered 1 through 3, and he got on the repeater and say, all right, open number 1, and you open it up and it would say, something like, make a 25-foot feed line, coax for your radio, go. Just random stuff. And of course they'd be remote, not at their shack. So you got to make sure that you have the ability to do such things. So we're working up to that point where we'll start sending random stuff to individuals. But for now, we're just going to do, everyone do this, everyone do that. So we'll keep it easy this time, but it won't be easy every time. We gotta get better, right? Was it a smooth sea does not a good sailor make? Was the quote?
Something like that anyway.
Yeah. So. All right. Any questions on that? Just keep an eye out for just an email on the group IO.
Roger that.
All right. Okay. Cool. So after the January exercise, we had, I'll say, some issues with WinLink. It wasn't anything bad. It was just like missing little pieces everywhere. And I'm going to completely blame you guys for it because there are plenty of nets to practice this stuff on, but it's obvious that no one's doing that. Says the guy who also doesn't check in the HF net every Sunday, but anyway. So I want to go over just a little refresher on some of the details of WinLink operation. So we make sure maybe these are missing pieces that someone can link together. Maybe these are gaps that you don't understand. Maybe it'll clarify a little bit. So we'll talk about some of these here. So the first one here is messages are only sent and received when you complete a session. Now, it doesn't matter what kind of session you run. It can be a telnet session, a packet session, an RDOP session. Messages will stay in your outbox until you send them, and you won't receive any messages until you complete a session, right? So the act of clicking that little start button both sends and receives, and nothing will happen until then. So that's a dial on demand thing, right? That way you're not constantly transmitting, your radio's not constantly on. Though you can actually set up the WinLink client to like check your messages every half hour automatically, which is might be a good feature, but we'll see. So the gateway is the most important part of the WinLink network. So there's no way to get your message into the WinLink network without a gateway of some kind. And gateways can be packet, they can be HF based like RDOP or Vera, or you can connect via a telnet session to, we'll call that a gateway, even though it's really CMS servers directly. But it's a way in. So these are, this is the most important term in all of WinLink is gateway. We really need to talk about putting a gateway up here at some point.
Is your gateway open?
Was that?
Is your gateway open?
No, my gateway's been offline for a long time now.
Oh, it still shows up on the map.
No, it doesn't. Does it?
Well, I thought I did saw it. I thought I saw it the other day, but maybe not.
Maybe.
I've seen it before.
Yeah, I've seen it before. Every once in a while I turn it on just to make sure everything's still working and turn it back off because I don't have the antennas for it right now.
Oh, that's why it don't work.
Yeah. Well, I had to swap antennas out with this rig over here, and it's it's just a pain.
Can we put a digipeater in Lumpkin now?
So we can probably we should probably do that somewhere. Now where, we don't know. We got to figure out how and where.
Will they let us put it up there on I guess it's going to be North Georgia's building where the hospital is? The tower there.
Well, we'd have to find somebody who can help us out with that.
Oh yeah, that's right. You have to pay $3,000.
Well, no, I mean, I think for that I think the other one is so expensive because it's a 911 tower at the EOC.
Okay.
The tower at the hospital is not a 911 tower. But I think the county has facility. She said on Crown Mountain, but I don't know where. I don't know if it's that tower or if it's like the water tower that's further up the mountain. I don't know where they're located.
I guess.
Was that?
The water tower might be good.
Yeah, it's higher. It's higher up the mountain. But yeah, I mean, we need to talk about a gateway and a digipeater of some kind. So speaking of that, is Packet WinLink requires a software TNC. That's the sound modem software. I think we've all got that one down. But that's the one-off, and I can't stand the way they do a lot of things in WinLink, and this is one of them. Have you guys ever noticed if you open, say, an RDOP session in HF, there's another window pops up with the, I don't know what it'd really be called, but it's basically the conversation. They actually call it a TNC if you look at the title of the window.
Okay.
And I don't know why they don't have their own built in and just make it consistent, right? So Packet requires one more step that the others don't require. And I mean, I'm all about consistency. It's easier to remember how to do one thing than it is to do two things, right? So, but anyway, so that's one thing you always have to remember is Packet requires that software TNC. So next is all HF modes are set up the same with audio in and out and controls. So there's a Winmore is still out there, even though it's deprecated, shouldn't be used. RDOT's out there, Vera's out there. These are different session types and different, I guess, modes, but they're all set up the same. So it's all the signal link and your serial connection to your radio. So once you get one of them up and running, the others can be set up similarly and they will work.
Question.
Yes.
You're going to do a WinLink packet with HF? Can you just pick WinLink packet?
Can you do WinLink packet with HF? I am not sure. I've not seen it, but surely there is some bandwidth problem going HF with that.
Okay, so when you do HF and you want to send a message, what do you use?
Okay. Stand by.
Our local repeater over here, I may have told you, they've gone to Vera FM.
Yeah, I hate that. Sorry to hear that. I get those emails and I shake my head. So Vera is very fast if you can see the tower. If you can't, it doesn't work.
Yeah, it wouldn't work for me because I only get about 2 bars of that repeater anyway.
It wouldn't work. I mean, the last state exercise, they did a lot of Vera FM stuff, and basically it was unusable except by one person, and they realized that that guy was 3 miles away and had line of sight to the site, where the gateway was. So
I think that person actually lives in the complex where the water tower is.
oh, gotcha. All right, so what was your question, Russ? Talk about
You
packet.
go to HF, you got your signal link hooked up, ready to go, you're on HF,
Yeah.
frequency. Well, what frequency do you use? Are there certain frequencies you use on HF?
Okay, so
Like you do with the VHF?
and let me go to this one right here. Channel selection is available in all WinLink sessions, and we'll look at that here in a second. That is where you figure out where the gateways are. So when you run the gateway software, and when it comes up, one thing it does, it checks in with the WinLink network and says, I'm a new gateway. That's how it shows up on the map. That's also how it shows up in your WinLink software. And we can look, look right here. So let me maximize this. So if I do just a packet WinLink session right here and do open, you see the channel selection, right? When you click on that, it'll bring up this table that shows you, in this case, these are all the packet gateways with their frequency, right?
Yeah.
So you can say, if you want to send AV4NX, that's Larry, he's on 145.710, you know. But now, if you're on HF, say you're on RDOP, right? So RDOP is a HF mode, for lack of a better term. I'm not really sure what the right terminology is for that. If I go here, there's also channel selection. Let's let it initialize. You can do it. Come on. Come on. There we go. If I go to channel selection here, these are all the RDOP gateways that I can reach.
Okay, okay. So there's
Way
HF
down-
gateway.
Way down in the long end of the band.
Yeah. So
38, right?
where's Larry in here? He's in here too.
35.
Oh, there he is. He's very first.
There's some 40 meters in there too.
There is actually, if you scroll down, there's there are others intermingled here. Yeah, that's all. Look at that. There's some 30 meter. But we'll talk about this. Okay, let's talk about the differences again. Remember my complaint about consistency. In packet, you have to have the sound modem running, but also if we look, I'm gonna go back to real fast. Stand by. Stop. Thank you. I go to channel selection. Notice it's just the frequencies. There's nothing else really, right? So you have to actually reach over and tune your radio to 145.710 if you want to talk to Larry's gateway, right?
Yeah.
But if you want to, if we go back to RDOP again and do channel selection, actually, before we do channel selection, we go to settings. We can go to, there's a radio setup, and that has the rig control, right? So what will happen is when you select a proper gateway from the list, it will actually change your radio's frequency to the right frequency and get you set up for it. So if I go here and I go to Larry's, if my radio was on, I double click this, it's gonna actually change my frequency to 3587. And then I'm ready to go. And I can just click start there. But now a really big part of this is, you know, the path reliability and quality estimates here. Those are the likelihood you'll be able to talk to those guys. And obviously green is better than red. Like, I doubt I'll be able to talk to you. I can't even read that. I'm so blind right now. What does that say? 3B8DU? What? Anyway, so these guys, I'm never going to be able to reach them. What's this, 28?
God, look at the distance.
10 meters. Where's he at? 44 miles?
That's 15 meters or 10 meters.
Yeah, I know. It's like, who's got a gateway on 10 meters? There's another one right there.
There's some
That's
15
Larry
meters.
again.
There's 15 meters in there
Yeah. Oh man. Anyway.
and 20 meters.
Yeah. Down in the red where there's no chance you'll reach them.
Yeah.
But I have this sorted by the path reliability. And since it's sorted by this column, I can look and see AB4NX is probably the most reliable. I'm most likely to contact him. And I can double click on that guy and my radio actually change over. Actually, let me turn my radio on. And you guys can't see it, but it flipped over to 3587, right, which is the dial frequency here. And all I gotta do is click start and it will actually reach out to and try to talk to his gateway. That's good, Rick. I see that. You want to make it bigger, Rick?
Aaron, what?
I'm just using my little magnifying glass.
Okay.
So.
All right.
Aaron,
read it.
what interface are you using for your FT2000?
What interface?
Yeah, is it Signal Link?
Yeah, it's Signal Link, yeah.
And then you also have the CAT port connected for frequency control?
Yep.
Aha,
Yeah,
okay.
So I go to my captured and playback devices here.
I got you.
Those are my signal links, and then I go into radio setup, and this COM7 is my COM port in the back of the radio there.
Yep.
Hopefully we can do this in depth on our digital workshop next time.
Yeah.
Where they do the HF stuff.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I think that's the plan for next time, right? We're going to do nothing but HF WinLink to make sure it's all working.
Yeah.
All right. So the important part there was channel selection, right? If you want to find a gateway, you go to channel selection. Now back to packet again. In packet sessions, you can actually use digipeaters to bounce off of. They're like repeaters, right? So you can send your packet to the digipeater, it will retransmit it and hopefully get to the gateway you're trying to get to. That's on the other side of the mountain. And we did that last time in the digital workshop. That was actually pretty successful. Smiley and Jim, I think we both got that working pretty well, didn't we?
Yep.
If I remember
Yeah,
correctly.
it worked very well. Yeah.
So we were able to find a gateway and connect to it, and then we were able to listen. Okay, because the part about digipeaters is there's no automatic list of digipeaters, right? It is not collected anywhere, so you have to figure it out. So what we did is we made note of the common frequencies. 145, 710 is the big one. Hold on, I need a drink here. Sorry, guys. 145, 710 is the big frequency. Basically what you do is you fire up your sound modem, you tune over to 145, 710, and you sit there and watch. And eventually the digipeaters will ID, and you'll see a line that says WX4 NET-4, blah, 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 digipeater. And you write that down, right? So you know that is the digipeater. That's about the only reliable way that you can find out which digipeaters you can hear. But once you know them, you can actually bounce off of them. So that WX4 NET-4, that's down in Beaufort, maybe? It's down at the other end of Lake Lanier. And from there, you can get into Metro Atlanta from my house. So it's very powerful features here. So remember that. But yeah, that was a good exercise last time we did at the workshop. It's figuring out how to find a digipeater, how to find the gateway, and then how to use the digipeater. So, and I was telling them a story about I actually bounced off 2 digipeters one time. This has been many years ago. And wound up talking to a gateway on the other side of Chattanooga for my house here. So digipeters can be, you can use up to 2 of them. So you can bounce off one, then to another, and then to the gateway. But of course, they all have to be on the same frequency. But I was able to find some that were all on the same frequency and bounce all the way out there. It's got to be 100 miles. So I thought that was pretty good. Anyway, any questions on that stuff? Are there any gaps in your WinLink that you want to talk about real fast? Like any questions you have or things you don't quite understand?
Well, I think the one thing that's the most confusing is just locating the digipeater.
Yeah. Yeah. That it is.
Show us again one more time where the map is.
Okay. I gotta find what I'm doing here.
Meeting real quick, okay,
And you gotta go.
for Catholic Online Radio meeting.
Yep.
So
So winlink.org.
8 o'clock.
Go to tools. And then it's slow because I'm streaming. Then here's the map, and then you zoom in the area you care about.
Okay.
Zoom in further because that's way too big. Then at the top up here, you have these radio buttons that you can barely read. Like that one says Vera FM. It says Vera RDOP. I don't even know what that says. Oh, robust packet, Pactor, and then this one's packet. So you click on that guy. Let's see if I'm showing up here. It takes a bit to render sometimes. So those are all the packet gateways that are on the map here. So
Not very many, is there?
there's not. There was a lot more than that last year this time. There were a few down
And
here.
now these are strictly gateways, but they're not digipeters, correct?
These are gateways, yes.
Okay. Is there any way of showing digipeters?
Nope.
Oops.
That's where you got to listen on the frequency, hope it
Yeah.
IDs and write it down,
Yeah.
right?
I see. Okay.
There is a list of digipeters that ARES tries to keep, but that doesn't. I mean, as soon as you start writing stuff down, it becomes inaccurate.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, surely there's a few that are reliable, that are stable.
And there are, like I said, WX4 NET-4 and -6. They're on 710 and 9. I can't remember the other frequency.
They got a whole bunch of them.
A whole bunch of digipeters.
Yeah, 4, 6, 7.
Oh, I forgot about 7. Yeah, that's in there.
You remember the one that I used? Do you remember where that was?
That was in Dallas, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. It was KJ4 KBB-15.
Where's Dallas at? It's like right
Dallas is on the other side of Douglasville, a little bit north.
here. Yeah, there it is right there. WX4 PCA, is that where you bounced off of?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
right
your
there
idea of
with
watching it on sound modem is probably the most productive.
Yeah, so that way you know it's there and it's transmitting right now. Yeah. So,
And there's
and
the
everyone
other,
just had,
and there's the other packet frequencies, the 145, 590, 510, 750, and 790. So you can camp out on just about any of them and see what's happening.
Exactly. If you pull up your channel selection, your packet WinLink window, and they're basically going to be 4 or 5 frequencies around you, maybe 3 or 4. Just write those down and spend an hour or half hour. Just let it roll and come back later and look at the buffer. Right? You don't have to sit there and watch it. It writes it down for you. So.
But you
But,
can
yeah.
sit there and watch it if you want to.
If you want to.
Yeah, thank you. Never mind.
There's a bullet. I was sitting there watching one day and Tugga showed up, a bulletin board that's down there too. That's a packet bulletin board.
Yeah, so WX4 and ET-4, I think that's Tugga, right? Yeah, he's a real packet station. Like if you listen long enough, he'll list all the nodes he has kind of connections with. So it's interesting. I wanted to show you guys this real fast. This is that digipeater that Smiley bounced off of. Notice there's two tabs here, because he's listening on 145.090 and he's also listening on 145.710. So he's listening on two different frequencies to digipeat. I don't know how that works. I've never done that on packet. But so if you see one, if you see one that has multiple tabs, it means multiple frequencies. I think there's a lot of RDOF that's like that. Especially like this guy. This is Larry right here. See, he's got three. He's got 80, 40, and 10. All right. What other WinLink gaps do we have?
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man, no problem. Anything else? Please bring any questions you have to the digital workshop. If you want to work through them, send a message to the group IO, send me an email. I don't care. If you have any problems, let me know. I'm not gonna name names, but I have sat down individually with people to help them out if they really need help to answer questions. So if you need that, that's fine. We'll figure that out too. Anything? All right, that's enough.
I'm usually available too if anybody has any issues. And
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Appreciate that. All right, that's all I got. So let's close this thing up. So the next exercise will be in the 20th. It'll be mobile. It'll be HF. There'll be some injects and a lot of WinLink. Hopefully not a lot of WinLink, but some WinLink. So be prepared for that. Anyone else have anything?
No, thank you very much.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yeah, man. All right, so those are the usuals. If you want to complain about my performance, please call Renee and tell her to fire me. Please. All right.
All right, good night, everybody.
We'll say good night. Night, guys. Thanks for coming.
Good night.
Later.
Hasta la pizza.